Well, the main thing that we're trying to do is a good coach, I think, make sure that their athlete covers all the bases, not just the lifting part. And usually the non-lifting parts, the lifters, they don't want to do that, okay? They just want to do what they're good at. That's the lifting part. So a good coach has to use whatever motivational techniques that they have to make sure that they actually make this a consistent part of their training and show them the benefits of it. And when they don't do it consistently, and then they see the downfalls, what happens, you know? And we always talk about good, better, and best. Well, you can be good not doing a whole lot of this stuff, but don't you want to go for the best while you're at it? So doing the recovery things, working your mobility, recovery, all that stuff is important to make sure that you're as complete as possible as an athlete. That takes you to the next level. All right, Roy, now let's move down a little bit. A lot of our weightlifters have issues with their wrists and their forearms. Because if you think about it, every time we pick up a bar, we're using our grip, we're using that forearm strength. Every time we rack a bar on a clean, we have to have the mobility in the wrists and in the forearms to be able to rack the bar correctly when it's over their head. So if we have any wrist or forearm issues, that can cause a lot of pain as well as lack of performance.
Yeah.
Any recommendations?
A lot.
I was hoping so.
All right, so we have two bones here in the forearm. We have the ulna on the pinky side and the radius on the thumb side. And these are supposed to be able to pronate and supinate, flex, extend. A lot of these tissues move in a three-dimensional manner, okay? So like you were saying, if you want to go into a wrist extension, flexion, be able to grip the bar, palm down, grip the bar, palm up if you're doing any kind of curls or whatever you guys do. There needs to be
curls.
Okay. There needs to be a lot of mobility here in the wrist as well as the forearm. A couple of things I want to make mention. I like how you mentioned you need to have the mobility in order to do this, but what about activities of daily living? I want to throw that in there because whether you're a weightlifter, whether you're not, it doesn't matter. A lot of us tend to type all day, get texting, thumb, driving. So we're gripping a lot, we're grasping a lot, go to the playground and play with the kids, like whatever it might be. I think we forget how often we actually use our tissues in the forearm and how important they are, like you were saying. And also remembering that what happens in one part of the body can have a direct impact on other parts of the body because we're all connected, right?
Sure.
So the forearm is directly tied to the hand. It's also directly tied to the upper arm, into the shoulder, which is also, as we went over, attached to the neck, the thoracic spine. So it's kind of crazy to think about the recovery methods and mobility methods that we pay attention to in the forearm can actually have a direct result with our shoulder.
Absolutely.
So that's one important point I wanted to make. But as far as mobility techniques and all that, I'm gonna show Leo a few things that he can do anywhere, anytime, whether you're at the office typing or whether you're at the gym, you're doing your warm-up and you also wanna do your cool down. It's gonna be so simple for you to be able to do this anytime, anywhere.
Well, and I think that's a very important point that we should bring out here is that all these different things that we're gonna be showing, you can do them a lot of different places. You don't have to do them in the gym necessarily.
Yeah.
You can do them at home. The whole idea is to be as consistent as possible, make it a daily routine so that it happens all the time, not just once a month.
Right.
Once a month won't fix anything.
Right. Yeah. It's like someone working out, trying to lose weight or get stronger, and they're like, well, I went to the gym twice this week. That's good, right?
Yeah.
It's better than nothing, but you know, if you're trying to reach that goal of mobility, recovery, strength, whatever it is, like you said, you got to be consisall
Exactly.
So
And that can be anywhere. That can be at the gym or at your house or wherever.
Exactly. So there's really no excuse you don't have time.
Exactly.
All right, check it out, guys. All right, onto the wrist.
All right.
Forearm, actually. So forearm obviously has a lot of function at the wrist, elbow, and all the way up to the shoulder complex. So what kind of self-myofascial release can Leo do, whether he's traveling, at home, at the gym, at his desk, on the couch even, right? So there's really no excuse why this guy cannot do this anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you to grab the RAD block, take the round out of it, place the block flat side up. Notice he's putting it in this direction here, so he has a little bit more real estate to glide on with his forearm. And he's gonna get into a comfortable seated position, whatever he wants. And he's gonna relax his hand so then his forearm is relaxed. And first thing he's gonna do is scan. And what he's scanning for is that number 5. He's not putting a lot of pressure down. You don't need to dig into the tissues to get a response from the nervous system. It's actually gonna appreciate a little bit less. That's why we always say less is more. Once you find that number 5, stop on it. And the easiest technique, pin and hold. Just gonna take those 10 deep breaths, thereby down regulate the nervous system and get that tissue to relax. After he performs his 10 deep breaths, he can go into a lengthening cycle to get those tissues in the extensor region to glide over one another. So right from there, Leo, can you slowly flex your wrist so your palm is coming up and back down nice and slow. And he can time this with his breathing as well. On the way up, you can breathe in, let's say, and on the way back down, you can breathe out. So again, it's really important to do this in a slow manner. I don't care if this is for the warm-up or the cool-down. It still holds true for both. The principle is the same, where we don't want to aggravate the nervous system. We don't want it to go into a non-trusting mode and tighten things up. We want to make sure that the nervous system knows this is a safe movement, a safe technique, and it will open up those tissues for us. Now you're gonna do the other side for me. So now he's gonna go into the flexor region right here. And as we know, weightlifters, everyone, we go into a lot of flexion and extension with our wrists. We might not even be aware of it throughout the day, but this is certainly an area that there's just no reason to not pay attention to it. It's so vital. Nice job taking those 10 deep breaths from here. Found his number 5. And after those 10 deep breaths, he's gonna go into extension, wrist extension, which is gonna lengthen the other side because it always works in opposition. He's shortening this side and lengthening the other side. There you go, lengthening the bottom side of his forearm there. So how's your forearm feel now?
Oh, it feels, no, actually, it feels really good. No, it does. It feels really good. It feels very loose compared to the other one.
You can always do like a pre and post if you want. You know, you guys can too. If you before doing your self-myofascial release and mobility, you can just test it out even on the floor. If you want to use a little bit of passive flexibility here, you can kind of go into wrist extension here and then flexion here, and just see how it feels on the forearm.
This feels significantly different than the other one. Yeah. Feels looser there as well.
Yeah. And how's that going to help people weightlifting?
In so many ways. Whether they're holding the bar here or whether they're holding it over their head, they have to have that mobility and strength in those wrists. So this has got to be a regular staple for just about all weightlifters.
Yeah. Consistency, right?
Absolutely.
All right.